So about a year ago, I was contacted by a company called Racka, owned by Champion Power Sports, and they were launching a new golf cart at Tractor Supply called the Racka RGC1, which I think just means Racka Golf Cart 1. But we tested here in the channel, had a lot of fun with it, and it was really kind of my curiosity with the electric engine on a big piece of property like this, and is that really kind of an alternative? Is it something that people could use and enjoy? We had a really great time with it. It actually now lives at a friend of mine's lake house, and they're still using it all the time. And again, had a great experience with it. Well, they now are launching a new one that you see behind me, that this is like the people mover, right? This thing is huge, it's fancy, it has all kinds of features. The RGC1 was a very basic golf cart, price oriented. This thing is kind of like, man, wait till you see some of the things this thing offers, because on a big piece of property, if you're trying to move people around, you're having friends over, you're really having a picnic, you're trying to get grandma from one side of the farm to the other, this may be the kind of thing you're looking for rather than a big diesel side-by-side or a big gas side-by-side, which they have their place on a farm. We all know that. I'm not arguing with anyone that this is going to replace any of that stuff. I'm just saying maybe this is an alternative, or if you're in a neighborhood, you're trying to go to the pool, or you're just trying to have some fun, maybe this is something you'd be interested in. So I have zero products to sell. I don't work for Tractor Supply. I don't work for Racka. I'm just here demoing their unit, and we're going to enjoy looking at this together. And I don't believe that anyone has seen this yet. This is just now coming out, and we're going to talk about everything from the color, the drive, the ride, the features, the Bluetooth, the built-in speakers. I mean, it is like crazy loaded with features. But let's have some fun. Let's look at this cart, and y'all tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, as we walk around the cart, I really want to kind of point out a few features. One is pretty obvious. You can see there's 4 seats here. There's no cargo area here other than the trunk, which we'll talk about that here in a second. But this is going to be really for moving people, not necessarily working on a farm, working on a piece of property, bringing a bunch of things with you. You're going to be bringing people with you with this thing. I did notice something real quickly. That little Nerf bar, I think that that's flipped up from shipping. So I think I had to loosen those 2 screws and just, or those 2 bolts, and just kind of flatten that thing out. So kind of ignore that. It looks like that's probably something I just failed to do. But yeah, I mean, first thing that sticks out is the color. The color kind of changes on you. It goes from like a brown to a tan to a champagne to a rose gold. And at first I would think I wouldn't like it, but when you pair it with all the black accents, I think it actually looks really cool, especially in person. You see it in person, it's a sharp looking golf cart, or people cart, whatever you want to call it. You do have turn signals. I know a lot of people are going to ask about some of the features that come with it. So rear view mirrors, turn signals, windshield, roof, soundbar, everything is included. As you see it is as you would buy it if you rolled into a Tractor Supply and you said, hey, I want that big golf cart you saw on Joe the Farmer's channel, and this is it. So even the light bar, this is kind of a Racka thing where they integrate that light bar in the front. The first one had it too. I loved it. It has a really nice kind of LED, front facade to it. Really big mud flaps. The other one would kick some mud up here and there, which any machine is going to do that, but they've really kind of thought about that by making these mud flaps much bigger. Looking at the suspension, you do have coil shocks, which is great. There are no A-arm guards, but you really don't have any CV boots or anything to worry about on the front, so not a whole lot to get broken. A-arm guards to me always are good, but this is probably not going to be an off-road vehicle, so I'm willing to kind of let this one pass on that. If it was a side-by-side, I'd say it needed to have A-arm guards. It's just, they're just metal. It's so cheap to do, just do it. On here, it's a golf cart / people mover, so this is really going to be used on streets probably more than anything. You do have disc brakes, as you can see. Nice push bar in the front. It just looks aggressive. It looks really cool. Really do like the look of it. I think it's going to come in other colors eventually. I'm not sure about that though. They haven't really said. I think I saw a demo or a mock-up of one in gray. Looked good, but it didn't really pop like this one pops. I don't know. I think you need to see it in person. Right away, I'm going to tell you one of the things I don't necessarily love about it, and that is the lack of storage. There is so little storage on here that you can't really put a cooler. You can't really put bags. If you did have golf bags or something, you're going to have to set them in the back seat. I think it'd be great if they could come up with some kind of, I don't know, some kind of accessory where you can mount even a net bag or something that you can bring stuff with you. It does have this trunk, which I think is really cool, and it does lock. And there's the charging cable, which everything is on board now. All you have to do is plug that cable into the golf cart, and you're ready to go right into a regular 110 volt outlet. But yeah, it locks, and whatever's in there is going to be secure. The other thing that I thought could be an improvement, which here you see kind of the sensor for the backup, and then there's the backup camera, is if it had a 2-inch receiver on it. A 2-inch receiver is going to open up a lot of opportunities, one of which is going to be like a storage rack. You could get one of those, you know, luggage racks to go on the back, and you put a cooler in there, make that your storage opportunity. So a 2-inch receiver, I bet you could probably add one to this if you wanted to. I may be talking about things that you guys are like, Joe, why would you ever want that? Like, we don't need that. This is all we need. We just got to get people from A to B. Fine, no problem. I just know for our uses, again, we're coming down here to the pond. We're going to different areas. It's nice to be able to bring stuff with you. Now, you do have all this room in the back seat. So if you don't have 4 people with you, you've got a lot of space to bring stuff with you. These flip up. You could set a cooler on the seat, and that wouldn't be a problem. You know, just fold it up, fold it back down. But again, it is what it is. You do have cup holders back here, which is nice. I think anything that doesn't have cup holders, whether it's a vehicle or a side-by-side or a golf cart, I think it's crazy. Everyone always has water with them or something with them. Some spider webs, no big deal. You do have these little pockets here. So it's really well thought out. And it's even stuff like this where you have a little USB charger, which is USB and, sorry, this I'm kind of... These are the kinds of things I do to try and get you the angles. So just bear with me. USB and USB-C. So you could charge really whatever you want. And it's nice to have power in the back. You're not going to have cords going back and forth. But here's your sound bar, which is integrated in. And I mean, it is solid. This is not just kind of like ratchet strapped on there. It's bolted on. You have a power switch, so if you want to conserve power, you can. Pretty impressive setup. The roof is far more stable than the first model. I mean, when you're shaking this thing, you really don't hear anything. I do, again, armrests come up and down. That's a nice feature. Very easy to get in and out of. So if you have somebody who may be a little bit older or have some disabilities, you're gonna be able to hop in and out of this thing very easily. And if I had the intelligence to fix those Nerf bars before this, I would have said, hey, you have like 2 inches of clearance. You hop on there, get in, very easy. I do have some members of my family that, you know, they don't get around as easy as they used to. So this could be something that would be really advantageous for having a lot of people together. Like Thanksgiving, we're all gonna be in the new barn, and it could be really nice just to move people around. So I'm sure it'll get a lot of use in that setting. But man, getting in the cockpit is like, very comfortable. You have a little microphone here, so if you're using the speakers, there are speakers under the dashboard, which is nice. And on both sides, you have a little cubby, which is lockable. Which again, these are just things. If you go in the pool, you want to put your sunglasses that are nice, or your wallet, or whatever it is, and you want to have it locked up where somebody can't just grab it. It's nice. There's more. That's probably a better look at the USB. Yeah, USB-C, regular USB. Hazard lights. Not really sure why. Horn, and there's the other one. This one's actually locked. But 4 cup holders in the front, which I love. You know, 1, 2, 1, 2. I always have water with me, and I typically always have coffee with me. So when we look through here now, I'm sorry if there's a glare, because these things never look good on video. I just haven't really found a way to make it look good on video. Let's see if I can. Settings, Bluetooth music, phone, CarPlay, Android, LED. You can mess with the LED lights and everything on there, which is part of the speaker. Camera. Well, I think that will show you the backup camera, but sorry for the beeping here in a second, but that's where you see the backup camera. It's not coming up really. There's the house. There's the... Sorry, I hate beeping. I think that's about it on there. And then home button. This will show you miles per hour, how much charge, what mode you're in, which right now we're in drive, and how many miles on it. There's only 13.8 miles on this golf cart. This thing is brand new. So we're going through here. I mean, again, you have rear view mirrors. You have a fold down windshield, which will fold down, or, which is really nice, you can just kind of turn these things and give yourself some air, tighten that up, and that's not going to rattle. And then you have some airflow in there, which is great. This is really, really well thought out. And little thing here, you can set your phone on or something, which would probably fly away, so I don't know that I would do that. And there is no park. There's reverse, neutral, drive, and I believe sport. And sport's going to go a little bit quicker, which is one of the other things that is kind of a little gripe of mine. This is not Racka's fault. This is not E-Z-GO's fault. This is not, I don't know, insert other golf cart manufacturer's name fault. They'll only let them go 20 miles an hour. So for it to be I believe a slow moving vehicle where it doesn't have to have a title, and there's a bunch of legal things. I'm not going to get into that stuff. You guys can research that, but there's something where it has to be 20 miles per hour or below, and it doesn't need all these additional levels of certification and titles and everything. And you're not, like Tractor Supply is a store. They don't have a DMV in the back of it. So anything that you're going to buy at like a big box store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, anywhere else that's not a dealership is going to be 20 miles per hour or less. And I believe even a lot of these carts in dealerships are going to be 20 miles per hour or less. So my only complaint is that sometimes you're trying to get someplace a little quicker and it's just not super fast. Plenty of power, just it stops at 20 and you're like, I want more. So it kind of is what it is, but maybe I'm crazy and you guys just say, Joe, maybe you need to slow down a little bit, and maybe I do. Seatbelts all over it, you know, so you got to keep yourself safe. You do have whatever these bars are called. We used to call them back in the day. I'm not going to say it here on video, but you have 4 of them, 1 for each passenger. And guys, this is a really, really well thought out rig, man. It's got every option I think anyone would ever want. You know, huge rear view mirror so you can see everybody. It's just a very nice unit. So let's take it for a ride. Before we do that, I'll show you the batteries. I'll show you this front compartment. And I'm still learning a lot about this machine, as you guys are, but it is lithium ion phosphate, which is the more stable version. Iron phosphate, LiPo4, I believe is what they call them. It's the more stable version of lithium. You don't have to worry about runaway on batteries and stuff, so it's gonna be a safer version to have in your garage. Do your research, guys. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to talk about it, but I do enjoy this kind of stuff, as I hope you guys do. Well, so far, there's the battery. And it is a LiPo4 lithium battery. And looks like we have a little bit of had a little snake issue in here in a very short period of time. So it didn't take long. But 51.2 volts, 105 amps. You guys are going to know a lot more about what that stuff means than I do. And if you want to see any kind of this stuff, you're welcome to do your research. I'm not a huge battery expert, but what I do know is that replacing these things is incredibly easy now. It's basically plug and play. You unplug this one, plug a new one in when it eventually dies. But my experience of what I've learned so far with lithium, what is it? LiPo4, I don't know what these things are called. This kind of chemistry battery is supposed to last 10 years. And I believe at the 10-year mark, after thousands of cycles, it loses very little of its ability to be powered. It's also going to be probably a lot more torquey, and hopefully in a little bit cooler weather, give you some performance. But I've also heard people say lead acid batteries do better in cold weather. So that's up to you guys to decide. But anyway, I think I'll clean the snake dander out and then we'll go to plan B. Well, I can't tell you all how many times I've done a video and a snake or a mouse or something has interrupted it. And I hope that just tells you nothing more than this is real life out here. And we really do test these using the machines. I mean, they sit in barns and they go up and down gravel roads and up and down hills, and they carry feed and do all kinds of stuff. So even if it's a golf cart, it's still gonna get a workout. But unfortunately, I think that snake thought he had a new home, but he has to think again. Right off the bat, something I want to go ahead and let you guys know is that there is no emergency brake on this unit. So when you're in drive and you hit the brake and you stop, it automatically locks it in. So you don't have any kind of emergency brake you're going to forget about and just, you know, leave on and end up burning out the brake cable. There is nothing but this dial. And again, when you're in drive and you hit that brake, it immediately sets it. So I just thought that was kind of important, and I love that because those brakes, my kids constantly drive with them on. So I'm always tightening those cables. All right, let's go for a ride. All right, hit drive, hit the gas pedal or electric pedal, and off we go. Got a rattle back here. Let me see what that is. These two seat belts are rattling against each other. So let me try, if I just buckle these. Yeah, these two things right here were rattling next to each other. Should mention also adjustable steering wheel, which is nice. still getting a rattle out of those seat belts, so I'll have to fix those or do something on them. But if I come onto the grass, very quiet. There's zero roof rattles, but I got to figure out what this thing is, because this, I wonder if it's a loose bolt or something. It's almost like that plastic part is rattling. I'll figure that part out another time, but you guys know what that is if you're hearing it, and I'm calling it straight. I use silent EVs for like hunting and stuff like that, so I need it completely silent. That I know I can make silent even if I just zip tie something around it just to quiet it down. Most people's needs are going to be going around the pool, going around the neighborhood. This cart will likely get tested out some at my father-in-law's new place, which is a 55 and up community, and they have a pool and have all those different things, so it'd be nice to kind of give it a shot up there. But so interesting, it's capping me at 15, so I wonder if I have to go to sport to get it to go to 20. You can see it accelerates fast though. Yeah, it goes 20, 21. It wants more, but it won't do it. But I do feel like we're kind of gliding along, so, you know, do I wish it went 25? Yeah, I do. But it has tons of power. Like the low end power, I'm just tapping the accelerator, it's throwing me back. Because now that we're in sport, it's 0 to 20 in no time. All right, I figure there's really no reason in waiting. Let's take it up the gauntlet. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, this is the gauntlet. It kind of looks like a Windows 95 screensaver, because this is one of the most beautiful places you will ever see in your life. But it goes straight up. Cameras do not do good justice to angles. However, all I can say is I'm yet to meet somebody who could ride a bicycle up this thing. Just about every machine we have, even 500cc gas side-by-sides, they start slowing down because they lumber, because there's a lot of weight on that machine going up this hill. Now, one thing I can say, this entire framing system of this is all aluminum. Like, that's a magnet. There's no magnet attaching anywhere, so it's light. It's not very heavy. I think it should do well, especially with lithium batteries in it and it being warmer. It's like 70 degrees, which it's fall. Why? But it's going to be in the 80s today. Not happy about it, but going straight up, let's see what it'll do, and I think it's going to do great. Let's do it. As with most of these tests, I start at complete stop, because I want to see if it has the torque on an angle, which, by the way, you know, the brakes are holding great, so it really is a solid kind of braking system. But we are in sport mode, which is that right there. Sorry guys, it's a dusty time of the year at the farm. And we're just going straight, so let's hit it. Steady 13, 14. We are almost at the top, and we have been steady. Going 11, 12 now, but wow, I'm impressed. That was great. Now, seeing it do it in the wintertime would be a different story. But that gives you an example. You can't even really see where we started, because it kind of goes a hump and then goes a hump down, but both of them are very steep inclines, probably 30+%. I don't know, I made that up as I just said it. So maybe it's a lot less, maybe it's a lot more, I don't know. But yeah, man, that was nothing. That was like no big deal. The roof was incredibly quiet. Really pleased with that. The only thing making noise are these seatbelt holder things, and it looks like one's missing right here. So maybe someone's already messed with something like that. But it's that sound right there. So I could probably put a clamp or something on there, quiet that down. But I'm not really planning on using this for hunting. I would, but maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long I have it. But it is power steering, which is butter smooth. Very, very smooth power steering. Well, that was a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed that. I don't think it's made for driving through hay fields at 20 miles an hour. Hay fields are notoriously bumpy and aggressive and rocky and everything else. That's why they go to hay and they're not cropped. But it did great, nothing broke. We all survived, everything was nice. But I think this is really gonna shine in a neighborhood. On the gravel road, it did wonderful. On the grass here, on the lawn, it was awesome. You know, the things I was really looking for were roof rattles, because we had that issue with the RGC1, but I was able to really mitigate a lot of that with some compression tape and stuff like that. But no real rattles other than that seatbelt thing in the back, which, you know, I could figure out how to kind of tighten that down. I'm just somebody who's really sensitive to that stuff because, again, I hunt, I love being out here on the farm, and I like quiet. And that is one thing that really sets these electric units apart from the gas ones. You know, I told you, I took this thing up and down the hill with a diesel one, with an electric one, and a gas one, and all that kept sticking out to me was how quiet the electric is and how pleasant it is. You know, you will hear the gravel under the tires, you will hear gravel hitting the undercarriage or the bumps and the rattles, because there's no engine shielding that noise from you. So again, is it made for a big 100+ acre farm? Probably not. But if you have an elderly relative who's trying to go from the house to the barn and back quietly, safely, you know, this is not going to run away from them, maybe it's a good option for you. I told you at the beginning of the video, I have nothing to sell you. I don't have any compensation through anyone here, Racka or Tractor Supply. And if you buy 1 or 1,000 of them, it doesn't affect me one bit. I just want to share information. And I love showing tools that make life easier on a big piece of property or in a big neighborhood. So if you're in a neighborhood, you have a neighborhood pool, or if you have a, you know, kind of a coastal areas, I know there's a lot of retirement communities that use these things. I mentioned earlier, this is probably gonna go live with my father-in-law for a while. He's in a 55 and up community, which is perfect for something like this. Here at a big piece of property, it works, but you know, there's other options that you could select for this kind of money. This is gonna be right under, I think it's right at $10,000, like $99.99 or something. I'm sure there'll be some specials here and there, but you know, Racka's built a really nice unit with all those accessories. I think it's super competitive with what else is out there, with the Easy Goes and the, you know, I can't think of any other names right now, but the Club Car. You know, there's a ton of these things out there, and they're $15,000, $20,000, which is just, it's starting to get crazy. But for something like this, I think you'd be proud to own it. It's a very nice looking unit. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong with an electric golf cart. And they make a lot of these things. I know that this is branded as Racka. These parts are interchangeable, so you're not gonna have parts issues. You're not gonna have any worries like that. I will get questions though. People are gonna ask about stuff like, you know, the turn signals and everything. Is it street legal? That's up to your state, that's state specific. If you've seen other vehicles like this on the streets in your neighborhood, in your area, chances are it's street legal. I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you had fun. Really enjoyed testing equipment and doing this kind of stuff. I appreciate the support you guys have given me and the ability to do this kind of stuff, because it's just fun sharing information. But if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Leave a comment down there. Tell me what you think about this new Racka golf cart. And remember, you can find it at Tractor Supply. If you go in there and you want to buy one, tell them Joe the Farmer sent you, because maybe they'll let us keep doing this kind of stuff. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Joe the Farmer, we out.